The producers and distributors of TEC-AV, Technical Instructional Video Programs, welcome you to this module in the series Electrical Cables. The program describes the procedures which will enable you to joint a paper-lead steel tape armored cable of 11,000 volt working successfully. During the program, you will be given time to discuss the principles and jointing procedures with your course controller. Before proceeding with any cable jointing, it is recommended that you wear approved safety clothing appropriate to the situation. Ensure that the cable has been isolated in accordance with the regulations and that you have the necessary authority, such as a permit, to carry out work on the cable. Let's begin with the basic preparation of the cables to be jointed. Ensure that the cable ends are straight, adequately supported, and neatly cut on the center line of the joint. Before jointing can commence, the cable ends must be tested for moisture in the belt and core papers. This is the procedure to be followed when checking the cable insulation for moisture. Heat a small jug filled with resin oil to a temperature of between 120 and 150 degrees centigrade. Check the temperature of the oil with a thermometer. Alternatively, you may use the match test. Immerse the tip of the match into the oil. If the temperature of the oil is correct, the oil around the head of the match will froth and small bubbles will appear on the surface of the oil. Strip 150 millimeters of the cable to the belt papers. Remove a sample of the outer belt paper. Use a pair of pliers to avoid touching the paper with your hands. Immerse the sample in the resin oil compound for half a minute. Hold the sample just below the surface of the oil. And then check for frothing and bubbles on the surface of the oil, a sure sign that there is moisture in the sample. Repeat the moisture test for the belt papers nearest the cores. The worming and fillers between each core, and finally the paper insulation surrounding the core, completing the test when the conductors are exposed. If the results of the test are negative, continue with the next step in the jointing process. However, if the result shows positive, repeat the test on a sample taken 1 meter further along the cable. Report the matter to your supervisor if moisture is again detected. Let's continue with the next steps. The cable is first stripped to the lead sheath using dimensions taken from the jointing instruction manual. Begin with the jute serving. In this example, mark a point approximately 550 millimeters either side of the center of the joint. Place a wire binder on each mark. This is the position where the jute serving will be terminated. Begin by cutting through the jute with a cobbler's knife. Then peel the jute away from the cable armoring. Remove the internal identification marker. This marker is specific to certain users and identifies the operating voltage of the cable. Flatten any sharp metal points with a pair of pliers and carefully remove the first layer of armoring. Unwind the steel tape and then bend it away from the joint area. Remove the second steel tape using the same procedure as before. Apply 2 or 3 layers of pitch and bitumen tape to the jute bedding where the armors have been bent away from the cable. Observe the lay of the jute and apply the P&B tape so that it agrees with the lay of the jute. Unwind the jute serving. Then remove the jute completely by cutting it away against the layer of P&B tape. Using a piece of cotton waste, liberally apply paraffin to the bitumen-impregnated paper bedding. Gently heat the paper until the bitumen is soft enough for the paper to be removed. Carefully unwind the paper. And remove the paper at the P&B tape, tearing it away against the edge of the tape. Use a knife to help with the removal of the paper, but be careful not to damage the lead sheath. Liberally baste the lead sleeve with paraffin. Then gently heat the sheath. Clean the remaining bitumen from the lead sheath using cotton waste or mutton cloth soaked in paraffin. The next step is to strip the lead sheath and belt papers. Measure the lead sleeve, which of course will be slid over the cable before jointing commences. The diagram explains where to mark the sheath. The sleeve is 650 millimeters long. Therefore, the distance from its center to either end is 325 millimeters. The position of the ring cut is 290 millimeters from the center of the joint in order to allow 35 millimeters of the lead sheath to remain inside each end of the sleeve. Measure from the center of the joint and mark the position of the ring cut on each section of the cable. Make a ring cut on this mark using the hack knife and hammer. Exercise care and do not cut deeper than 1/2 the thickness of the lead sheath. Make a longitudinal cut down the side of the lead sheath from the center of the joint to the ring cut. Carefully peel off and pull away the lead sheath so that the end of the remaining sheath forms a bell shape at the cut. Remove the sheath from the cable. Secure the belt papers 20 millimeters from the ring cut using resin-impregnated tape. Apply 2 or 3 layers of tape and then gently feed the tape between the sheath and belt papers. The tape will provide a protective cushion for the belt papers. Continue applying the tape until the tape is evenly built up over the sheath, ring cut, and belt papers. Unwind the belt papers and remove the paper layers by carefully tearing them away against the taped end. Finally, remove the jute string center filler. After the break, we will discuss the preparation of the cores.